I did most of the weapons for the show because, it's a spaghetti western in outer space. Got to have guns. Whenever anyone tells us that they're doing something cool, we stick ourselves in there and help, and it costs us money and time and that kind of thing. But we like doing cool things. It was Convergence, I think. It was a convention, a science fiction convention. You did a panel, and I showed up and kind of went, oh, they actually are doing something.
I like things.
So I like things.
And Michael seemed competent.
Yeah, Michael seemed like he had his crap together. This is the handcuffs worn by Ugly. The actor had to be able to get in and out of them himself. And so I figured that if I used magnets to hold them shut, they would, be fairly stable, and he'd be able to just, pop them open when he needed to, and he could be careful with them so that they didn't pop open when he didn't want them to. In reality, this is a shower radio, isn't it?
I don't remember what that is. I think that's what it is.
It gets used as a projector type communication device. I like this gun. This is a good gun. It just has a good look to it, good feel. Here's Star Wars model parts. Star Wars. This is a PVC board material, used a lot for a lot of different things. PVC pipe. This is a lathed piece of resin. This is actually part of an old tent pole. Just all kinds of little nirnies and doodads that you just put on there and
Those would be technical terms. Gurgies and nirnies are the small extra things you put on stuff to hide their original outline.
Actually, the nirnie word might have come from the ILM history. There were greeblies and nirnies, I think, at ILM. The greeblies were things that you stuck down in a hole, like lots of little model parts and things. If you look at the blueprints that they drew up for the Millennium Falcon, it actually says greeblies with an arrow. Put greeblies in this hole. The classic prop builder's word is kludge. And to kludge something together or kludge something together is to cast about in your workspace and find whatever you can find and glue it together in a haphazard, almost crazy-ass sort of way, and then you paint it and it becomes a prop. Lots of squirt guns turned into space guns because they're really convenient and less than $1 at your local thrift store. Thrift store is your friend, really it is. Squirt guns and that kind of thing, they come they beg to be turned into space gun kind of stuff. That's the end of a microphone that I just scavenged, and lots and lots of scavenged parts. A scope from another toy, just bits of model kit, more model kit parts. Everything gets a coat of black paint. Or, well, okay, if you're doing Star Wars, it gets a coat of black paint, and if it's Battlestar Galactica, it gets a coat of gray paint. Everything gets a little bit of dry brush, a silver-looking thing, so it looks like it's got some wear to it. You get your brush so that it just has barely enough on there to leave a little trail when you're applying it to the prop. When you're going across it, it just kind of hits the edges and simulates wear. Boba Fett's costume in Star Wars is like a perfect example of that. This fella, this is literally just dry brushed. It's like big, broad, dry brush because you want that black to be settled down in the cracks, and you want the higher surfaces to have a silver sheen to them. I went out and I actually found a pre-existing prop pistol and then just redressed it. Actually, I literally cut the whole thing off right at the end of the barrel and dressed in more PVC, a little styrene, another tent pole. This is actually a copy of the thing that's on top of C-3PO's head. More Star Wars. We will not escape Star Wars, I guess. This part down here is a custom turned piece, just because I needed something that fit this profile to make it look right. This being Shark's gun. It was a Nerf dart gun, I think, and then this is added detail and little added details on here. This is a quick connect for a water hose, and then once again the paint job is everything. Pre-existing props, gotta love them. These are water containers for your squirt gun. And this is how they came. I just took them apart and repainted them.
We just went to the thrift store and bought a whole bunch of stuff and just started painting it and changing it so that there was a box of stuff on set. Most of this stuff wasn't made for anybody in particular. The guns were made for more or less for specific characters, but the rest of the pieces were just extra stuff laying around. So it's like, oh, so-and-so needs something on their wrist. Quick, grab something out of the box. These are the wrist tape dispensers you see at Christmas, but they actually had movement, so I tried to find things that you could do stuff with on screen. Given a little bit more time and more than a $30 budget, we would have probably redone the bands, especially if we'd known they were going to be prominent, because this was one of those things that was in the box and it was like, oh, we better grab something out of the box. Standard little highlighter pens, make great little grenades. Clips.
Yeah.
But, there was just a big box of stuff to grab from, so as you were sitting there going, oh, we forgot to make that thing, there was something to grab and use.
That's a compass. That's a car compass, actually. It used to have a bubble in here that would say north, and you just it had a sticky pad on the bottom of it. You just put it on your dashboard like that. They come with these really convenient clips on the back of them, so you just stick it on a belt or something and it becomes some generic space pod item.
Then there's the vest, which is standard fishing vest for a very small main character, Windy. So it had little fur pieces down here for your flies, but we ripped those off and we added in these, it was just stick-on rubber matting, make it look more kind of like a bulletproof vest. The important thing about clothing for somebody, especially who's going to be a bounty hunter who's kind of been on the run and sort of in hiding, would be that they wouldn't have pristine, wonderful, perfect clothes. And one of the things that a lot of people don't do with costuming is they don't distress things. So they don't make things look old. And this is over-dyed and sanded, and paint is added to give it the edges, chalk is added over the top of it. It's easy to do, but there's a lot of time involved in it. Basically, if you just think about where clothes wear, those are the places you want to do the most distressing. So neck, armpits, those sorts of things. Because Ugly's vest has all these bleached stains, or it's like, I don't know what he did.
We like to call ourselves fans of style. And if something has a good delineated style to it and it follows that and really works it, we love that. Art Deco is like the ultimate art style anyway. But Art Nouveau or any of those sorts of movements in art, when they're pure and good and well done, you gotta love it.
You can go graphic 50s, Flash Gordon.
Yep.
20,000 Leagues, Harper Goff fan.
There's a baseline that you have to run when you're doing this kind of stuff. It's got to look good on camera. It doesn't take any special kind of equipment to make cool stuff.